Growing up, I was always told I had a lot of potential and that someday I'd be super successful. While other kids were playing hide and go seek in the dark or, I don't know, playing laser tag and video games, I was instead locked in my room playing Legos and building Connect models and trying to learn how to construct a website from scratch using HTML and CSS, which was kind of unheard of for someone at age 6. So I always knew I was smarter than most kids. I thought differently and had big aspirations and dreams for myself. Somewhere along the way, I started using that as more of a crutch, my natural smartness. Instead of trying hard at school, I did whatever. I knew I didn't have to study as hard as other kids and I could still get decent enough grades to pass. If I tried, I could get an A, but I never tried. So without even studying, I would go and get C's, maybe B's if I got lucky. While I was succeeding in all these other areas of life in high school, being president of the clubs, emceeing, debate, whatever you want to call it. So from the outside perspective, I still was Mr. Potential. This guy's gonna be super successful. But on paper, grades-wise, I didn't have anything to show for it, even though I could have if I just tried. In college, I was kind of the same thing. I had a great social life. I was also in all these leadership positions and moving things, and I was charismatic. People thought I was going to be super successful again. And sure, I did land a job at a Fortune 10 company. I did all the right things, but I wasn't successful in the way I wanted to be. Instead, I became like a regular average Joe. And I forgot that I was someone who was Mr. Potential. I just relied on my natural smartness to finesse my way into certain situations, be successful to a certain capacity, but I never lived up to that potential I was supposed to have, that I had when I was growing up. I remember it hit me when I was sitting in my job, my first year when I graduated, and there was a guy next to me sitting and he got a plaque because he hit 20 years at the company. He was so excited and so happy. And I remember looking at that and my heart just dropped. I was like, really? Like, this is what makes you happy, that you worked at a company for 20 years and this is your reward, a little plaque? And then suddenly I remembered, what am I doing? Am I on the same path for this to happen? Like, if I don't change anything, am I just gonna be Jim from accounting 20 years from now, being extremely happy that I won this little measly award? And I had this grand vision for my life, that I was gonna be not just successful, but very, very influential, famous. I don't even know if famous is the right word. It was just it's Harvey Specter says most people live life here, I live life up here. That's what I thought I was gonna be living. And instead I wasn't. And all these years I knew I was smart and had all this potential. Where did it go? What happened? I remember reading this book by Hal Elrod. He wrote Miracle Morning, and he said that the people in life who are super great, the icons of industries, they have two things: unwavering faith in themselves and extraordinary effort. And I'm a lazy person. I still think I still am lazy. I really don't try hard. For the longest time I didn't. I see guys like David Goggins and Gary Vee and all these other people who talk about hustle, work, and sleep for 4 hours. And I thought those guys are from a freaking different planet, dude. I don't know how they're ready to just attack the day, and they have so much passion and purpose in everything they do. And I had neither of those in that miracle equation that Hal Elrod talks about. And I was like, who cares if I'm smart and all these things? I'm never gonna make it if I just continue on the path I am. So I tried really hard. I had all these external goals I wanted to do, right? I wanted to build businesses. I wanted to achieve financial independence. I wanted to find a job that gives me purpose and passion, build beautiful relationships, find a loved one, do all those things. And I tried seeking it hard and going at it. I was applying for jobs. I was doing this. I built 3-4 businesses and I tried the best. And once again, this was me still operating at 50% capacity because I knew I could be doing more, but this is all I could muster up at the time. But none of them still amounted to much. And the businesses failed. My job was meh. I didn't really care about it at the time. And no matter how many dates I went on, or it just never worked out. No matter how hard I tried, I was just busy being busy all the time. And there's this thing that a lot of people feel, and I felt at the time, I was stuck. I was stuck, and no matter how hard I tried, nothing worked for me. And all these things that I've been told, and all the talents I have, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was like the wall in the earth was like this glass, and I couldn't shatter through it to reach the life up here that I wanted to live. And I was frustrated, man. I wouldn't say depressed, but I was just like, what's the point of life? If my point of life is that I'm going to go work at this job 9 to 6, work out once in a while, maybe see friends on the weekend, sleep, repeat, do that for the next 50 years and retire? Is that all is my life is meant to be? Was that really the super successful somebody person that I was supposed to be, Mr. Potential? And it was kind of dull, the monotony of life at that point. And I remember I was sitting in the subway one day in New York when I was going to my job, and I saw this like poster. It was by Jim Rohn. He's the mentor. He's the guy who made Tony Robbins who he is. And the quote said, "Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development." And that stuck with me because I was like, in that moment, personal development, what, like, shit. I'm not doing anything in terms of personal development to work on myself. I'm out here trying and hustling and trying to do things, but I'm not working on myself. On a good day, maybe I'm a 2 on 10 personal development, meaning like I wake up early, I work out, I meditate, I read books, all the stuff that you know you're supposed to do in terms of personal development. I was not even doing any of that. And that's when it kind of hit me, this whole thing, the lesson that I learned that took so long for me to learn. If I wanted a 10 on 10 life, 10 on 10 in health, wealth, love, happiness, all the attributes, all the pillars of life, I needed to mold myself and shape myself into a 10 on 10 level of personal development. On a good day, I'm a 2 on 10. So all I'm able to attract in life is a 2 on 10 life. And if I wanted to get the success and attract all the things I wanted, like to live that life, I had to work from a 2 on 10 to a 3 on 10 to a 4 on 10. Instead of seeking external things, instead of trying to apply for 100 jobs, I had to work and focus on myself to become a person who could create this human being that would automatically attract all those things. And that's when it all clicked for me, because that's when I realized I'm going about this completely the wrong way. I need to stop going on dates. I need to stop trying to like be better at this job. I need to stop doing all those things and start to build myself, my character into a person who is someone who gets those results. And that's the lesson I really want to share with you, because when I started to do that for myself, when I started to say, fuck all this other shit outside, fuck all the goals I want, let me work on this. Here, this whole personal development, self-improvement nonsense that you hear on social media, where you just have to drink coconut water, put a face mask on, walk on a treadmill, or whatever the bullshit that you hear online, that's not what self-improvement and personal development is. The reason why every successful person you know talks about this stuff is because it actually works. When I started waking up earlier, meditating, journaling, eating right, I started reading books, I started building businesses. I was like, let me educate myself, let me learn. Instead of spending time going out and partying, I was instead listening to Audible, 7 Habits for Highly Successful People and all these other books that people talk about. When I started to do that for myself, suddenly go from a 2 on 10 to a 3 on 10 to a 4 on 10 in level of personal development, I wasn't even trying to get some of the opportunities I did. Somehow, randomly, magically, emails would just come into my inbox of opportunities. I started to see the world in a different way, started to move through life with a different level of confidence. Goggins always talks about that all we do in this bullshit self-improvement society is you do all the random self-care that you're supposed to do and wear like $100 products and then go to the mirror and yell affirmations that I'm worth $1 million, I'm worth $1 million. But if you have nothing to prove to yourself, you've never made $1,000 for yourself in terms of outside income, why do you think you're gonna make $1 million? Your mind is not stupid. You don't get what you don't deserve. So you have to start to create yourself into the human being to move from a 2 on 10 to a 3 on 10 to a 4 on 10 to ultimately a 10 on 10, where then you can't help but sustain and attract a level 10 on 10 life in every area of your entire being. We have this concept in psychology where there's this bouncer, we learned this in NLP, where it filters everything that comes into your mind. So if, for example, we all had this happen to us, you want to buy a watch or you want to buy a red Toyota car or some shit or a Tesla, suddenly you never wanted those in the past, but now all you see on the street is those cars, or you see that watch everywhere, or you see the pair of shoes everywhere, because the bouncer is starting to let that information in. Right now, the bouncer is showing only a certain amount of information that your mind is closed off to. When you start to open your mind to all these other types of self-improvement, to all the personal development, all the work you're doing, all the books you're reading, everything that you're educating and fueling your body with what you need, suddenly your mind starts to open. You start to see opportunities elsewhere. You start to take those rose-colored glasses off and see life in a totally different direction, and things just automatically start happening. And not as old say I'm a 10 on 10 individual in personal development. I'm not. Maybe on a good day I'm a 6 on 10. But just by leveling up in all those areas, like I said, like dream jobs started landing into my inbox. I found the love of my life. I found relationships with friendships who I love. I started seeing the world in a completely different way where things were happening to me and for me. And I started to take responsibility and control for my life. See, the thing that always messed me up was I thought I'm a lazy person. I don't have discipline. I'm not wired the way all these icons and all these people we follow are wired, right? And that's what I learned. I thought I had a character flaw. That I'm all this guy with potential who is naturally smart, but it'll never amount to much because I don't know how to execute or know how to do all those things because I'm whatever, I don't work hard. But it's not a character flaw, it's a design flaw. It's the way you design your life. And that suddenly, because you can control how you design your life because it's not a character flaw, you can start to create the life that is worth having all that success in your life. So here's my advice and action to you. If you want to take anything from this video, it's this. You know all the things you're supposed to be doing. If you are someone like me who knows you want to live up here, you want a 10 on 10 life in health, wealth, love, and happiness, stop focusing on other external bullshit. Stop worrying about how much money you have in your bank account. Stop thinking about all the things that you want and that you need and applying for job interviews and just striving to I don't know what it is, man. Like just going at it in life. Instead, pause and start to realize it's a design issue that you can design yourself in a way that would create the life that you want to have. If you start just doing the basic shit that you know you're already supposed to be doing, if you just start doing all those right things in self-improvement, suddenly you'll see your whole entire life transform. And man, it's crazy. It's so crazy how this is not the kind of stuff they teach you online. They're not stuff they tell you need to like buy my course or do this or do that, but it's none of that bullshit, bro. It really is none of that stuff. You only get what you deserve as a human being. And if you're not at that level, like all the people we follow, that's because they're all up here and you're just not there yet. So start taking action on the things you know you're supposed to be doing. Start making movement towards that. Focus inward, and suddenly when you look up, you'll notice all the things you want in life already there for you. And yeah, that's my little rant. I hope you guys got some value from that. If you did, let me know in the comments below what's one thing you're going to take towards being actionable in that direction. And if you're new here, my name is Sid. I try to drop videos like this once a week where I take self-improvement concepts and break them into actionable parts. And if you want to connect with me further, I'd consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and man, you know the rest. Follow me on Instagram, whatever it is. I don't even want to pitch this about myself. I just want to be honest and real with you guys because this is something which you can do. You can change your entire life if you start to just focus on yourself and stop focusing on what you want. And you'll realize luck is nothing but just being someone who is worthy of luck, if that makes sense. So take care, guys. I'll see you all in the next one.